Tonight on Backroads, a look at people who are preserving wildlife.
Now that's good.
Bev Schofstel's life is for the birds. She rehabilitates injured birds and other creatures, but at the cost of giving up her home and any semblance of a normal life.
If you're gonna do something like this, you have to be 100% dedicated because it will eat up your life.
No, we're not going to save an entire species, one animal at a time, but it makes a difference to that one animal.
Nick Ryan supports a different kind of wildlife.
There we go. Smile for the kid.
There's something wild and crazy going on inside this innocent-looking country store.
The piranha from Peru, the skull of the goat that we curried in honor of, Jamaican Independence Day. All kinds of weirdness. All kinds of weirdness.
Dining at the Lick Creek General Store is something to be experienced.
Pull the tail off. I like your food. Is everything okay? Yeah.
Stay tuned. Another Backroads is coming your way. Every morning, each day, spring through summer, Beverly Schofstel is up at the crack of dawn taking care of her babies.
Come here, let's comb your hair. The mornings are very hectic. Of course, getting the boys off to school is the first part, but the majority of the feeding gets done first thing in the morning. You've got stuff on your face. Okay.
Feeding the babies is a time-consuming process for Beverly and volunteer assistant Kim Belden.
This is my daily feeding chart so that I remember to literally feed everybody. There have been times when by the end of the day you don't remember if you fed that last animal today or yesterday or was it the day before.
Not only do they feed them, they use this opportunity to clean them up or clean their cages.
With the babies at this point we're lucky enough we get by daily. As they grow a little bit more, they've got a little bit more before they can be put out in the big outside pen, and it'll be every feeding within probably another 4 or 5 days. It'll be every feeding their cage will need to be cleaned.
Not only do the cages need to be cleaned out, but the soiled linen also needs to be washed. These babies have taken over the Schofstel's home because they need to be kept warm.
How about a 2-4?
They eat things like dog food, mealworms, and mice. You couldn't pay most people to open up their homes to help these creatures. In fact, Bev doesn't get paid to do it either. She does it because she believes someone needs to do it.
Well, I am a certified veterinary technician, and I was working at a local clinic and had been for a number of years. Every once in a great while, somebody would find a wild animal, primarily a bird of prey, owl or hawk, and bring it into the clinic. You know, I'd hang over the exams and just be right there to learn all I could just because I thought they were so neat. Yeah, that's good. Maybe you should be doing that a little more too.
Bev was approached by the Illinois Department of Conservation, offering to help with the paperwork necessary to obtain the permit required to care for wounded wild animals.
At the time, I had no concept of what I'd be getting into. None whatsoever. In fact, the one gentleman made the comment to me that it'd be kind of fun. I might even get an occasional raccoon or maybe even someday a baby deer to take care of. He implied that we'd probably have a few animals a year.
She brought home her first red-tailed hawk, and I took the pair of pliers and pulled these claws out of her arm. And so I said, okay, we're going to have an occasional bird.
Luckily, my husband's an extremely tolerant man. I know some of his family still shake their head because they don't understand and really can't understand why he wants any part of this.
Bev's husband, Jim, probably deserves a lot of credit for tolerating this invasion of animals. Last year, they cared for over 200 of them. The kids, Andrew and Jared, are also very tolerant. and take it all in stride.
They fill up a lot of space in the house and the property, and it's just kind of a chore.
Pretty much takes up half the downstairs.
In this house, the animals come first, because if they don't, they'll die. It's as simple as that. If Bev is lucky, she might be able to get a bite to eat herself. The kitchen's that busy. All day long, volunteers are using it to prepare food for the animals.
I can't tell you how much I appreciate those volunteers, but there's still the point when I would like to walk through my own house and go to my own refrigerator and make a sandwich, and there's 3 people in my house chopping up food, and the mud that comes in all day long with the volunteers. It just goes on all the time. I appreciate every bit of it, but it leaves nothing to a personal life, to a sanctuary to just walk away from it all for even just a few minutes.
Beverly couldn't care for all these animals on her own. She depends on the help of a few loyal and talented volunteers. People like Trice Keel, who shares her passion for animals.
Actually, I have 3 college degrees. I have an associate in science, which is a 2-year degree. I've finished up my bachelor's in zoology, and then I went on and went to graduate school, and I have a master's degree in science and cardiac rehabilitation. And I worked in cardiac rehab for about a year and a half, and unfortunately I picked the wrong field. I went to school for the wrong thing. It's not that I didn't like it, my passion are animals, especially wild animals, and I'm very happy working with the animals rather than working in a hospital. If it came to be that I would need to do that financially, I would, but right now I've been very lucky that I'm in a situation where I don't have to do that.
Hey. Okay, now. This isn't good.
Dedicated volunteers and donations are the only things that keep Free Again Rehabilitation Center operating.
No one's there giving you so much money every year, especially the government. It's just not something that's funded at all. You have to go out and make your own and do programs, educational programs, to raise money. Go out and solicit donations like from Kroger and ask them if they wouldn't mind giving us their throwaway produce.
One of the ways Free Again raises money is by giving educational programs for fees or donations. Bev has a permit to keep some of the birds of prey that can't be returned to the wild. For example, this red-tailed hawk has a wing that couldn't be healed. Volunteer Brian Stearns is working with her so she can be handled by others. On the other hand, Jim Schofstall is the only one who handles Simba, a cougar from South America.
Simba's here because he was confiscated, sold by a dealer to some college kids who didn't know they had to have a license. So of course the Department of Conservation walked in and said, "You can't have that kitty," and took him away and set him here as a temporary home till they could get to court, so we could find a home for him. But you know, strangely enough, nobody wants a declawed kitty. Nah, I know it's a stranger. Did I get it out? Yeah, because I'm going to have to.
Playful Simba may look tame, but he's still quite a bit wild, as we found out.
So that's why nobody else goes in the cage.
While Free Again can keep a few of these special animals, most of the animals that can't be rehabilitated are euthanized. This rabbit was struck by a car.
Chances are real good, though, that what we've got is a broken back.
Yeah.
But then we can at least humanely put him to sleep.
Right,
So
right.
we'll give him a day or two and just see what we've got.
Only about 30 to 40% on a good year live, which means 60% die. So when you get over half the animals that are coming in, and a lot of them are babies, it's not really fun to see those little cute things just die overnight for no reason.
That same day, an orphaned baby kestrel arrived.
He seems to be in pretty good shape, although he's not as active as he was when they first brought him in.
Sometimes called a sparrowhawk, a kestrel is really a falcon. The prognosis for this one is good.
His wings are fine. His legs are fine.
Yeah. And his attitude is
His
fine.
attitude is fine.
Well, that's good. That's good.
The handling of wild birds and other animals is kept to a minimum. These babies must not be allowed to imprint on people. They have to identify with their own kind. Once they're weaned, the handling of the babies ends and they're moved outside.
alone. That's the way we like to see a little raccoon, actually.
Jim and the volunteers have built scores of pens. Many are secluded, away from the sight of people. Others are specialized, like this flight pen, which allows the big raptors to fly and hunt. This mature red-tailed hawk shows the other immature hawks how to catch food. In this case, live rats placed in the pen by Beverly.
He just lets me walk right up to him and spook him.
The rehabilitation process begins with the successful handling of animals. They're treated, and the healing process is monitored. The release of these magnificent birds validates the process. All that hard work and dedication really does pay off.
A normal person probably wouldn't choose to do this for a living because it's not a living. It's very tough, and you don't make money at it. You, in fact, probably lose more money than anything.
We don't support this officially with any dollars. She does get volunteer help occasionally and whatever else, but this is primarily out of the goodness of her heart.
Bev and Jim have given their lives and their home up for these animals, quite literally. In their minds, it was either time to quit or take the effort to the next level. So they took out a second mortgage on their house and built this barn. The entire care and feeding operation will soon move out of the house and into that barn. They'll also be able to expand on-site care with an operating room.
It's a leap of faith. Obviously, Free Again is not building it. Bev and Jim are building it for Free Again's use.
The goal is to make Free Again into a full-fledged wildlife rehab center, operated as a nonprofit entity.
At some point, at some time, I hope that we can honestly say we have a working budget so that I could maybe even get a partial salary for this.
But in order to do this, they'll need to make a more concerted effort to raise money, and that creates its own set of problems.
To get to the point where there's big money, as in some of the centers, you end up sacrificing a lot, that there are people who do nothing but fundraising. Many of the things that I could have accomplished by now have not been accomplished because when push comes to shove, I want to pick up that next coon and feed it, and I don't, that fundraising can wait.
When you have a road-hit raccoon that needs our help, or a great horned owl that comes in the middle of summer with maggots, and you're sitting there picking out the maggots from joints, you know, you're not doing it for the money, you're doing it because you love that animal and because you want to help them.
So, rule number one is, kids, don't try this at home yourself.
What about the family? They didn't volunteer for this. Would they change their lot in life if they could?
I've always wanted to be Tom Cruise or somebody, or Robert Redford, but what I'm doing now is I'm content and comfortable and happy doing it.
If you're gonna do something like this, you have to be 100% dedicated because it will eat up your life. I haven't even been doing it. It's taken up a lot of mine, so even with the good things, there's always a catch to it.
What kinds of catches?
No, again, you lose a lot of time and money because all the buildings out there we had to pay for out of our own pockets. Donations are appreciated as we get them. And so it takes up a lot of space, room. That's pretty much it, though. I mean, just all the sacrifices you have to make.
Would you want it any different?
Pool would be nice.
Yeah.
Beverly just wanted to be a veterinary technician and work for the veterinarian and take care of animals. That was her plan. So doing what we're doing now is kind of an interesting thing to, I see it that we are creating something that's going to be here probably long after us.
From the outside, the Lick Creek General Store looks like an old general store. In fact, it is an old general store, handed down to current owner Nick Ryan.
Believe it or not, this building was actually built by my grandfather in 1938. He died during the Second World War. My grandmother continued to run the place as a general store well into the late 1960s. This is myself with my grandmother shortly before she died. She's into her 90s. And this is her with me in the backyard here at Lick Creek.
In this traditional setting, something highly unorthodox is happening. Nick Ryan was known to be something of a campus radical in his college days. He's mellowed some. He's now a restaurateur, but he's a radical one at that.
I think the country is sick of what the hell has happened in the last 20 years with everything. And I think there's going to be a backlash. And I hope I live to see the last fast food place, just fall in bloody, inferno.
Nick Ryan operates in the gray areas of regulations and expectations. What should a dining establishment be? The Lick Creek General Store defies description, so this story is probably best told in the words, actions, and deeds of Nick Ryan, his workers, and his patrons.
The style here is there is no style. That's the style here, is that we'll try anything. We'll attempt anything. It's all experimentation. These are the outhouses. We are probably the only restaurant, perhaps in the United States, but I definitely know in all of Illinois, with state-approved, wheelchair-accessible, male and female outhouses. We're doing things in a non-conventional way, so it has raised some eyebrows. Well, we don't do it that way. Well, we can do it that way. There are alternatives. There's no such thing as, I can't, so to speak. It's I don't want to. Onion, red beans. You don't have to have, a $100,000 kitchen. I mean, it's nice and everything, but you can still cook a lot of the old-fashioned way. The bottom line is you want to know your critical control points of food. You don't want to kill anybody. This whole place has kind of been an evolution. We didn't have a plan when we started this place. We just said we're going to cook good food and see if people come and eat it. And what's evolved is we're into this kind of a 9-course meal thing. We do 9 courses. You're a salad and a soup if it's winter time. We'll do a meat, several different meats, chicken, occasionally red meat, lots of seafood. The menu there is no menu here. It's whatever we decide to cook that particular day. Everything is just in time here. Everything is fresh. We go buy the stuff virtually that day. We'll do red beans and rice. We'll do some shrimp Creole. We'll do mussels in the cream sauce. Oh, pork loin. Do pork loin. My theory is there's some basic fundamental rules to cooking, but the sky is the limit, and I call it cooking with reckless abandon.
So what is this, man?
It's a shrimp Creole. It's all experimentation, constantly, from Creole, which Creole food, Cajun food is really a menagerie or a melange of just absolutely so many cultures, from Africa, to your French, to your Spanish, to, this incredible heritage of cuisines all kind of rolled up into one.
I like to cook, but I never thought I'd get to work in a place like this. It's different. I think we ought to go ahead and put the rest of that hot sauce in there, that whole bottle, make it spicy. And then,
I agree.
Get a clean spoon and give it another sample.
It's like I'm not a kid working at a store. He's a kid working at a store. But, I mean, it's just, everybody's the same. So it kind of works out pretty well.
As the sun goes down and the candles come up, there's a magic here, and we don't even try to figure it out. I don't think it's within our power to figure it out. We just let it happen. We had a gentleman here who was a Sufi, I have a waitress comes back to the kitchen and says, "You've got to come out here and talk to this guy. He's having a religious experience here in Lick Creek." He was feeling incredibly good vibes.
You guys are silent.
We love Nick's food. I come down here often. Nick cooks great Cajun black. I do. And Nick cooks great blackened shrimp. Because it's such a good time. Not that my friends always get this rowdy.
Crawfish up. No, you don't have to suck all in. You don't have to suck it. Just pull the tail off. I like getting to cook and mostly the people, meeting all the people that come to the restaurant. Because I probably meet 10 new people a night. Just eat them.
Oh, there we go. Smile for the camera.
Does your wife treat you like mine?
You remember me? I'm Mark's mother.
Good. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, oh, absolutely. I was hoping you would show up.
Well, thank you for inviting me.
I was hoping you would show up.
Thank you. That is really, really nice. This is
I
great.
need a slotted spoon and grab some platters. It's time to do mussels. We're doing New Zealand green shell mussels in a clam sauce. These are baby clams. Get me a spatula. Not a spatula, a ladle.
And I just read in the newsletter that New Zealand is the top producer for mussels. And that's what we have. New Zealand mussels and a clam sauce.
Excess, no. Excess is not the word here. With fast food in our culture, you know, everybody's a number, boom, 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 food costs down to the penny. You know, that's what, this place is the antithesis of that. Not here.
Oh my God!
She did the hottest hot sauce we had in a large portion in red beans and rice, and now she's not doing too good right now.
It's not as good as...
Do not eat. I'll put a little more.
Shut your tongue and wait about a minute.
Shut up. I'm gonna be okay. That's real. I didn't think it'd be that hot.
There you go. Bread with butter. I'll cure it every time. You're just supposed to put a little bit on the tip of the thing. You can do whatever you want to do, and you can eat more than you ever need to eat, and have a fantastic time.
Here, let's try it up against the paneling. There you go. Just try it up against the paneling. It's ready.
Hey, Nick, you want me to start a fire up front?
Sure.
Let's get a fire going.
Got a little pasta action going here, a little crawfish tail, a little mussel, and then we put the pasta in the water that the crawfish boiled in, so we get that Cajun flavor in the pasta. So it'll have a little different zing to it.
This is your linguine, and it's got a seafood sauce over it.
If you can't take 3 hours out of your life
Shrimp in it.
to sit down with friends and have a good meal and good conversation, then what do you really have?
See all those people in there? Everyone else has been here except me.
They're all friends
I'm just trying to fit in.
That a lot of it is just sitting out here by the fire and enjoying the people that are here.
That is it.
It's not so much. The food's good.
The food's
Nick is Nick, you know. But then you get all the people that come down, and if you come here quite a bit, you get to meet all the different people. And like tonight, I know at least half the people here. Now, some of these people I didn't know before I started coming here, or some of them I knew before, and I've lost their acquaintance.
It's like we were talking, it's just like the parties that we have at our house. For the last 20 years, yeah.
The only
Get together,
difference
eat a lot of
is
food, drink some wine, drink some beer.
we don't have to cook the food. That's the only difference.
Or
We can
clean up afterwards.
That's right, or do the dishes.
I like pork, but I really like that. It's just, it goes down like water.
It's like, you know, people like to party at other people's houses. And when you come here, yeah, that's what you're doing. You're just coming to a party at somebody else's house.
We do okay over here?
Okay.
Everything's been all right?
Nick, I tell you what, once again, you've done the most perfect job.
I don't know why I do it. Like I said, we don't really try to figure that out, you know. It's like, does it feel good?
Is it working? You know, am I happy, whatever that means, quote unquote happy? I think yes, yes, yes to all those above, you know.
I like your food.
Is everything okay?
Yeah.
That's what happens here. I think people sit down. They've never been here. They kind of get nervous and they look around, and an hour or two later, wow, this is fun. Wow, this is different. And by the end of the night, 9 times out of 10, it's like, damn, what happened to me?
I didn't know what to expect when I came here, and it's great. And I just love the food. Yeah, and it's wonderful. I'm sure you do the same, right?
It's excellent. It's entertainment as well as good eats. Can't beat it.
Well, we're going to blacken some shrimp in a little bit. There's fireballs that, with a camera and a picture, kind of look like mushroom clouds from Alamogordo, New Mexico. And if the hot butter hits your skin, it's Cajun napalm.
Fireworks.
A VHS copy of today's program is available by sending a check or money order for $19.95 to WSIU-TV. Please include the date of broadcast.